Welcome to Language for Nothing. I'm Justin Ryan, and today I want to talk about interaction patterns. Now, the main purpose of the blog is to test out a specific language learning strategy, and the crux of my approach is something called interaction patterns. And basically that is taking pieces of the language and intentionally creating a pattern that prompts you for a response, and then you respond using the new language. Usually when we speak in our native language, it's to take part in some sort of conversation. And now, conversation isn't reciting a list of memorized words.
This is a tape I made from when I was practicing the dictionary.
Conversation isn't just repeating what the other person is saying.
Job, job, job.
Conversation isn't just translating what the other person is saying either.
No bravado.
Conversation is interaction. You interact when you respond to other people's prompts, who then respond to yours. And in normal conversation, this response to prompts is automatic. It's just like a reflex. So the idea is to gain the ability to make a reflex response in the other language. And by learning how to create patterns yourself, you can take any material from any source that you want and transform them into a useful, understandable interaction with the other language, using the other language. So let's take a look at some examples of interaction patterns. Now, what exactly does an interaction pattern look like? Well, generally it consists of one main sentence or phrase that repeatedly prompts you for a response using slight variations. Take this sentence, there is a computer here. Computer is replaced with other words. There is a bag here. There is a desk here. There is a TV here. There is a chair here. There is a book here. The main sentence is, there is blank here. The slight variation is whatever item fills in the blank. Computer, bag, desk, TV, chair, book. These sentences are then practiced in a way that prompts you for a response. This is most easily demonstrated on flashcards. On side 1 of the flashcard you have a computer. On side 2 you have there is a computer here. On side 1 you have a bag. On side 2 you have there is a bag here. On side 1 a desk. Side 2 there is a desk here. Now the idea is to look at the prompt on side 1 and speak the answer that's on side 2 before you flip the card over to check your answer. Okay, the next thing I'm about to say is really important. I'm using English on these patterns only as an example in this video to show you how it's done. However, when you create these patterns, they should be made in the new language, not in English. This is very important. In a previous video, I used the interaction pattern above, there is a something here, in Swedish, called Swedish from Nothing in 13 Minutes. I'll put a link to it in the post. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Follow along with these question sentences. Did you go to the store? Did you go to the bank? Did you go to the restaurant? Did you go to the office? Did you go to the movies? Did you go to the bookstore? To make flashcards, it would look like this. Side 1 would have the store. Side 2 would have, did you go to the store? Side 1, the bank, did you go to the bank? The restaurant, did you go to the restaurant? The office, did you go to the office? The movies, did you go to the movies? The bookstore, did you go to the bookstore? Now there are several different types of interaction patterns you can implement. The ones that I just used are called substitution patterns. This is when you take a word in a phrase and substitute it for another, or a group of words and substitute it for another group of words. But there are also several other kinds of patterns you can make, such as question and answer patterns. And this is when you answer a question. Pretty obvious. In these kinds of patterns, the prompt is given as an extra hint with the question. The hint helps you to know how to answer. Let's use the first example from above and turn it into a question-answer pattern. Is there a computer here? Is the question. The hint is yes, and the answer is yes, there is a computer here. The question and the hint are written on one side of the flashcard, and on the other side, the answer is written. Is there a bag here? Yes. Yes, there is a bag here. Is there a desk here? Yes. Yes, there is a desk here. Is there a TV here? No. No, there isn't a TV here. Is there a chair here? No. No, there isn't a chair here. Another type of pattern is the transformation pattern. This is when you transform part of the phrase into something else. This works well with verb tenses. For example, if you were practicing the past tense, you could create a pattern in the present tense that you would have to transform into the past. So for example, you could take the present tense I'm going to the store or I go to the store and transform that into the past tense I went to the store. I'm going to the bank, I went to the bank. I'm going to the restaurant, I went to the restaurant. I'm going to the office, I went to the office. Another type of pattern is the combination pattern. This is when you combine two simple sentences into one big one. For example, I like tea is one sentence, and I really don't like coffee is another sentence, and they can be combined. So the prompt would look something like this, tea/coffee, and then the answer would be the combination sentence, I like tea, but I really don't like coffee. Cookies/milk. I like cookies, but I really don't like milk. And on it goes. The last kind of pattern I want to talk about is the translation pattern. This is when you translate a phrase from one language into the other. Now, this is the most popular pattern that people use when they're studying another language, especially when they're making flashcards. In fact, I don't know of any other kind of flashcards that people make. They have the English on one side and then they have the other language on the other side. And this is what people think about almost exclusively when they think about making flashcards. However, I do not recommend making translation patterns. Avoid this kind of pattern unless you absolutely have to use it. And this is because the whole point is to respond automatically as a reflex in the new language. If you're constantly translating inside your head, your response will not be automatic and your conversation will be very slow, difficult, and very tiresome. I talk a little bit about this in the video of the breakdown of the Swedish in 13 minutes. It's not the Swedish in 13 minutes, but it's the breakdown of it. I'll put a link to it in the post and you can check that out. That is a quick introduction to the interaction pattern and the different types that you can make. There are others, but these are the main ones and they're pretty versatile for creating interactions for all kinds of different scenarios. I will be making a few more posts to explain the purpose and the benefit of the interaction pattern to accelerate your language learning. And I'll also show you how I use them in my daily practice. So don't forget to come back and check them out at languagefromnothing.com. I think it's good. We're good. 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 Forget. He's in the. Yeah, gonna have to mask him out. My buddy here.